So we're back with part 2 of the Wesley Wickens interview. Now, we've had a fantastic talk. Last, Saturday we uploaded. We had to talk about eSports, we had to talk about Wesley's upbringing as he was sort of influenced by motorsport. We had to talk about the minis and also about his favourite colour and why is his favourite colour, which I thought was really, really cool. So now we're going to talk some more about the Rallycross in the future. Have a watch, make sure you subscribe, hit the alarm bell, so we have a lot more of these interviews coming up, as well as our vlogs at Rallycross events, at various motorsports events, of our builds, and really want to take you along for that journey. So hit subscribe, hit the bell, give us a like, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the interview. Yeah, so I suppose going back a little bit, obviously you've done, how many seasons is it you've done now?
Oh, well, wouldn't call them seasons at all. What have I done?
Picking during seasons.
Yeah, I've done, I don't know. I don't know if I want to count one of them this year because I did a lap and a half and the engine blew up. Not even a lap and the engine blew up, so I don't know if that counts. But I guess 4 is... Yeah, 4, but I don't really want to count one of them because I don't think it counts a lap.
Yeah. So, I suppose, what was your... I was about to ask this. What's your scariest moment that you've had? Or have you had any scary moments, I suppose?
Yeah, I had it was fun more than anything. I at Lydden.
A running theme with all Rallycross drivers. It's more a fun moment than a scary moment.
Well, you're not quite normal to want to do Rallycross, are you? You know, it's not your normal Sunday, Saturday activity that most people do, and I think that's why I like Rallycross drivers so much. All just not as,
yeah. It was the second time. Oh, yeah, the BDRDA one in Lydden last year. So my first time there, I went out for practice. So it was like the third event I've done, or third round technically I've done because I did 2 within. No, it would be round 2 because we split 5 nations was over 2 days. So yeah, it would be the second one I ever did. In practice, I think it was my second lap or something. I was just having fun, sort of trying to get used to the line. It was, for some weird reason, it was just a lot less grippy than it was at the 5 Nations like a month before. And I went into turn 1 and I braked, and then the car just tried to overtake me, and I was just looking straight at the wall, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to hit that." I just accelerated. Luckily, I held it and came back to it, and it was. I remember as I got around the corner, I just thought, "Yeah, that could have cost me a lot." Because it was practice, so I could have just dropped it in practice and been day over before I'd even started. And B, I was like, "Oh, great, here we go, I'm losing it." There was like no warning, just the rear's trying to overtake you now. I was like, right, cool. And I did it again in at the last event in May, going into the Joker. I was actually sort of attacking the Joker a little bit because I was having a battle, so I wanted to get a good time through there. And I was braking for it, and as it's sort of a curved corner to brake for.
So it's a weird corner, isn't it, that line, especially because you got to brake so much as well.
Yeah, brake hard and turn right a bit, try and make it straight. I didn't make it straight enough, and the rear just kicked out, and I just had to remember I was braking to slow down, but then I had to accelerate to get the car back to save it. And it was just out of nowhere, just, all right, loving it. No, I'm not. And it just snapped back, luckily. But it was quite a bit of oh, God, because if that went, that would have been a nice, it would have looked a bit foolish and a bit nice, that one, and that would have cost a little bit. But yeah, it was, so the rear doesn't seem too stable on mine. But yeah, it's so much fun when it gets loose. Well, I bet it won't be fun the time I actually hit the ball, but nearly hitting it and is quite a lot of fun. Quite a pump, that one.
Yeah, I suppose with Rallycross as well, because there's not so many. You know, you can't go and do a load of practice days, a lot of test days. You know, you're quite limited on the with the surface change and what have you. So I suppose there's an awful lot of learning, especially when you're, like you say, early doors as well in it. There's an awful lot of learning, awful lot you've got to kind of take in with that, which, I must admit, when I look at people, and I think that's, especially the first time you hit the loose quickly, would be quite an interesting moment, I would imagine, and hopefully we'll find out one day without going into the wall is the plan. Cross, touch, wooden, everything, all that stuff. Yeah, and I suppose the opposite to that then, sort of most memorable, or I suppose more like not achieved, but a moment where you really thought this is everything, this is what I wanted. Did you have anything kind of like?
Yeah, it's actually quite weird for me. My first overtake, like one of the only ones so far, on John Rook, I was quite happy with, because I didn't expect to be able to be close to anybody to do one. And thinking back to it, is actually, I remember watching obviously the Top Gear. I believe John Rook was the guy that Hammond overtook as well at the same place I did.
Right.
He went round him on turn 1 after the chicane. It was basically, because I've watched the back and it looks like basically a carbon copy of what Hammond did. So it's quite nice to look back at that and think, oh, that's basically what I did. That's quite nice. And yeah, it was good, because I actually had a nice couple of corners racing with John, and he gave me quite a lot more room than he should have, and I think I won't get the same amount of room ever again.
Not. Yeah, no.
But yeah, it was great, because I got the passing around the outside of turn 1, and then he got me back up the hill, I think it was, and then I got him back again at the last corner. And it was great fun having an actual race with someone and being side by side and be like, yeah. But yeah, I did. It was good, because I remember passing him for the final time. I was like, right, this is my corner. Sort of, I had enough of it by that point. I was like, right, this is mine now. We've done this twice. So, but yeah, it was. I loved it. I've been actually able to overtake someone. That's what I'm hoping with the new car. I just want to be in the pack. The win doesn't matter. Well, it does. I'd love that, but just to be involved in the pack and have a bit of door to door would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that totally get that. It's interesting as well the Top Gear, because Clarkson ran a E36 328.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there, Andrew. Just putting it out there to let you know. Clarkson won the same car. Funnily enough, he didn't do that great, I don't think, either, because it went in super modified and it's like massive.
He did spin.
Yeah, and he spun. Yeah, obviously I wouldn't spin. So we'll carry on. We'll move on from that. So favourite track, or what's your most... Yeah, your favourite track then? Do you have a favourite track? Is it Lydden? Obviously with the memories, But then Lydden's an interesting track, I think. It's very fast with some quite hair-raising corners, like you say, coming down the bottom of the hill and turning in.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, I've only actually driven Lydden so far, so it's starting to become quite a theme. But yeah, it's definitely my favourite just to be around and everything. But I can't wait to go to the other tracks. But I do reckon even going to the other ones, like Blyton and Pembury and Knockhill and all that, I think that Lydden will still be probably one of my favourite, because it's just the memories there, as well as it's got a lot of elevation change and it's its own thing. Yeah. Lydden compared to the rest. Like Knockhill's got its own. It's insane, but it's not. To me, it's not a Lydden, but it's still a great track. There's a lot of people love Croft. I've seen a lot of people love that circuit, but I don't think I'll be able to do that for a few years, as they're not doing Rallycross for a while.
Unfortunately. Hopefully it will be back. Money's it's a money decision from what I've been told, and it's a real shame, but fingers crossed things get a little bit, back to better with the pandemic and all these things, and hopefully we can get back to Croft, because I think that'd be really cool. I suppose with Lydden as well, Rallycross itself, it is Lydden, it is Rallycross, and obviously the history back in the 60s with that. And then, like you say, especially if you're growing up watching, your stepdad racing and what have you, that's probably why, like myself, I like as a normal circuit track Alton more than any other track, and that is purely the memories of us being a child, growing up South Manchester, heading over to there and just watching these cars and just being lost in their moments. So yeah, I like that connection. Quite understandable there. So I suppose moving on, you've done a few, you've got the new car. Have you had any, and I would imagine so, given us certainly with the engine or have you this year, any sort of doubts in yourself or the cars, or why you're doing this? Has it ever even come up, or is it just, well, that's the new challenge, we're going to get past it and fix it and move on?
Yeah, it's not exactly doubts in why we're doing it, because I think everything could go horribly wrong as it has at the beginning of the year. But doubts in myself definitely through the fact that the car's not. I blame the car mostly. Try to do that because it's easier that way. Because I haven't been able to go in and do as well as I would like. I'm a bit further off the lap times I see them do, and you sort of ask questions of why can they do the lap times but I can't. But it is mostly down to the car. My car hasn't had for example, a map on it. That probably makes not too much of a difference, but there's one excuse for me. I sort of have a list of them for the car. But yeah, I got to the 51 mark, and I think I've sort of stuck around that. My best time was done with a fuel issue though, because the car kept stopping out of turn one. The fuel wouldn't get to the engine, so it just stopped power and then came back. So my best time's done with that issue. So I can go faster, but yeah. So there's definitely been doubts of that I'm not braking late enough, or I'm not going fast enough. But then everybody becomes a professional driver that knows how to drive when you're doing it, because they just go, "Oh, you're not braking late enough." It's like, "Oh, am I not? Okay." You get in the car, sort of thing. But but never doubted why. No matter what, the money side, it's like, oh, that's probably not a good choice. But Mum said, I blame my mum for it, because like 2 years ago, she said, "Well, you haven't really got any responsibility, so you might as well, do what you want to do." Yeah, it was like, you haven't got any responsibility, so you might as well do what you want to do now. I was like,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, so it's not her fault really for saying, you can do what you like. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do this. And yeah, the money's, I've thrown a lot realistically away, think about it, but I've had a lot of fun doing it. So
yeah, that's it. Exactly, you're making the memories that a lot of people dream of at the end of the day.
It became priceless as soon as I went out there. I remember we rushed to get to the media day. We turned up with a car that the bonnet wouldn't close, it wouldn't have any protection under it, and it didn't really work too well, and didn't even have any mud flaps and stuff on it. And they allowed us out after we got some help from the Hawkses and the Bells, and we got some of the sump protections off of them and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So we got all that set up, and my brother worked. He was very helpful, because we know cars kind of, but we're not the best at putting them together. So we worked quite long into the day to try and get the car out, and then eventually we did get it out, and the power steering wasn't plugged in, so I had none of that. So the car was very heavy. I've never had a car without power steering, so that was fun to learn on a racetrack. I was like, well, this is a bit. But as soon as I went out there, it became priceless immediately. I think I drove around the first lap screaming, because I was just like, this is great. You were sat there at Lydden for growing up for years, just watching everyone race and thinking that would be so cool and dreaming of it. So to be actually on the track, I was like, this is just awesome, just absolutely awesome. So very quickly, the money, it's a lot. It can be a lot, and it does feel like a lot sometimes when you sort of go to work, get your paycheck, and think, oh, that's all going onto a car. But then when you get there, you immediately forget. It doesn't matter, because you're going to have a race in a couple of minutes. So cool, awesome. The money didn't mean anything.
I think that's it. And listening to you there, that I think that there is that element that you just feel probably that sometimes you're born to do this, and you can tell just talking to you and your progression through already that it's quite not necessarily a mature way of thinking, but you are thinking, how do I improve? What do I do? Getting the new car, a proven cars, obviously it's a big investment, but again, it's how am I going to benefit with this? It's not just I'm going to jump in the car and do it. I'm going to learn the car. Why is it made? Why is this car different to my car? Why does it handle in a certain ways? And I think that's for the future wise of yourself, obviously still very young in the sport, I think is I think it's a really, really good way to look at it and moving forward. And looking forward to that journey as well and watching it. Is no doubt I'll be at pretty much every meeting going forward. So, that'll be good. So I suppose then kind of moving. I mean, what we're looking at 46 minutes. I told you I wasn't going to go on too many tangents today, so I've been trying hard. So one thing I do quite like to ask people, and this is more my sports therapy kind of background, is did you find any physical aspects, certainly with driving rallycross, that you didn't anticipate? Obviously, you've got the bumps as I'm progressing through the day and other aspects of that. Was there anything that took you by surprise with that?
The bump on the exit of the last corner, that is throughout the day, that one gets very big, and you really feel that one. And I don't feel like you get watching the onboard back. I'm getting thrown around like there's no tomorrow, and I think I had bruises on the top of my knee or something from where I hit the plastic underneath the steering wheel from in the car in a minute at the time. It doesn't feel like I'm getting thrown around too much, but yeah, I sort of watching back and you could hear it, and I definitely feel it in my back, but it's all fine. I think the last time I went, I ate slightly the day after on my back a bit because it got really big, and if you hit it at the wrong angle, you're getting some real big air, and I only have standard suspension on mine, so the landing's not
right. Do you? Wow.
Yeah, it's not exactly the most comfortable thing in the world coming back down, but the standard suspension doesn't break as easy, so I sort of it's a money thing in a way, but you can do well with the standard suspension, it works fine, but yeah, the landing doesn't feel too good if you hit the that bump because it gets very big. And I went around the track and did a track walk finally, and there's a lot of them, and I think I said to some people it's like a private road, but you're trying to do like 100 down a private road.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't do it in my road car at all because I'd think that's just nuts. You wouldn't go like 5 miles an hour over it in your road car, but you're trying to do 100 in the rallycross car. It's a bit silly if you think about it, but it's if you don't really think about it, just sort of you just take the bumps and you go. It's not painful. It just sort of whoopsie, but you ache because it was fun. So anything you do that's sport or fun, you ache. If I go play football for a day, I'm going to ache quite a bit the day after anyway. So it's just the same as that really. It's just a bit of aches for a bit of fun, but yeah, it's a big bump, that one on the last. I've seen some pictures of some cars and they get very, very high on the rear and then the curb as well afterwards. If you land wrong there and then go over that curb, because that curb is huge there. So I wouldn't want to.
It's caused some quite interesting, I suppose, moments when you with some of the racing. You can see in the past when they're hitting that curb there. So I suppose what we're on, 49 minutes of kind of wrapping up a little bit. A question that I asked Lee, and I'm always interested in people's opinion on this, is looking, and obviously you're quite new-ish into rallycross. What do you think there's anything that needs to change in rallycross from the driver's perspective, the fan perspective, in terms of promoting of the sport? Because I think it's fair to say that in a lot of ways rallycross doesn't have the recognition in terms of being out in everybody's houses like it should be, considering the excitement, and I'm only massively biased. But yeah, is there anything you thought from your experience in rallycross that could maybe do?
I'm not really sure, to be fair. It's just maybe I don't really know. The stuff with the TVs, obviously, I guess it's quite difficult to get TV deals and such whatnot. So that side of things is obviously very difficult, but that's realistically the only thing you can do to make to grow it more. I'd say that's really it from the TV side of things, because from being there on the day, it's amazing. There's nothing really you can do at the track to change anything. It's great. The racing's close. It's good fun. The rules are good. I think the cars are all very equal. Yeah, everyone can be a bit cheeky, I guess, but there's the rules and everyone knows them. Everyone's, cars are weighed, the fuel gets tested, everyone runs the same fuel, same tires. And it's all, I think it's all pretty good. The cost, I'd say, I don't know if the cost has changed recently or not. I think it's cheaper than it has been before, I think, from what I know. So the from the cost side of things, it's, I'd say, quite good. Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. Like the entry fees and stuff like that, it's not bad. The fuel and stuff doesn't cost. Yeah, I wouldn't put it in my road car sort of thing, but I guess it's, you know, an expense you need. Yeah, just I guess maybe better. I don't know how they really can change it other than social media reach or certain TV deals and stuff like that. But then people say that TV's, you know, on its way out in a way. So it's.
I watch more YouTube than I do TV. So.
Yeah, all the stuff I watch is on just subscriptions of Netflix. You know, the Disney Plus stuff and Prime is mostly what I watch now. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how you really can extend it in a way, especially for a national championship. I think that the British touring cars have a very, very good deal. I don't know, obviously the ins and outs of it all, but I think it's fantastic. You know, my mate I work with loves to watch it because you know, it's 7 hours of racing on a Sunday that you can just record and watch on ITV4. It's fantastic. So Rallycross, you know, is easy to watch as well, and hours worth of races. So if someone can get just a deal like that on some sort of channel, but there is obviously on the free channels there's deals, but if a bigger channel would take a risk, it would be good. But from a promoter's point of view, I don't know what they can do really.
Yeah, I'd say you're spot on there. I know from the and some discussions I've had in the drifting sort of scenes with the live stream setups there, because obviously drifting's very much I think seen as well more of a boy racer, you know, that element as well. So they've had to do a lot of them themselves, but the financial aspect of doing that, if you don't have a specific media company wanting to do that, it is massive. And you can't just do it amateurly. You need to have a polished professional way of doing it. And I certainly echo as well your thoughts. Everybody I've spoke to has nothing but praise for the likes of the committee and the team at the BTRDA and at the British. You know, I think they do a fantastic job of running the championships and really getting every level, you know, of I suppose sponsorship money and driver. It's so I think they're doing really well. But like you say, it's a changing. You know, the world's changed massively over the last few years, and it's only gonna change more. So, but yeah, I'm always interested to hear what people say around that. It's one of those questions I'll always ask people. I think as well as, you know, ourselves being a sort of for that media aspects that we look at, it's an interesting point as well. And I suppose another interesting one I'd like to ask is, what is your take on the electric future, given the fact that obviously internationally you've got that, you're now coming into domestic with the supercars, with the Stards, and I suppose with some elements at some point, decades away or whatever, there'll be a lot more. What's your kind of take on that as a driver and a fan?
I'm completely for it. I think it's a good thing. I know everyone loves noise and everything, but and I know the Fiat 500s or whatever they were at the British round, they didn't go too well from what I've heard from what people that went to the event have said to me, that the fans, I don't think, enjoyed them too much, from what I can tell, because I don't think they made any noise at all. I think you need a little. Yeah, they need a little, like the supercars and for example, Formula E. They make a noise. They make quite loud.
That whine, that transmission whine. It's quite.
Yeah, it's got a nice whine to it. It's like an RC car. Nothing wrong with an RC car. You know, I like the electric technology because I think, for example, you put your foot down and it's there immediately. There's no delay. That's how the acceleration will work and how quick they're going to be. They're awesome. And it's also a positive thing because obviously racetracks can't do a certain amount of events each year because of noise. So eventually, if we have electric cars, what are they going to complain about after that if the noise of the cars are gone?
That's a very good point, to be fair. I've never thought of that, but...
The supercars are extremely loud. They're fantastic. Obviously, we love them, but like all the neighbours are complaining, obviously. So if we have electric supercars, what are they going to complain about then? Probably just the tyres screeching instead. But
they'll find something, I'm sure.
They'll find something. But I think it'll be awesome because the cars are going to be quick. They're going to be a bit heavy, And from what people have said when they've driven them, they're not easy. They sound difficult, but they also sound absolutely fantastic because you just accelerate and it will just keep going forever. Like that sounds like an insane car. And I'd love to drive something that just keeps going and has no delay to anything. I think that sounds awesome. And yeah, it's no noise, but as long as there's a little noise, and if the racing's good, then that should make up for any lack of noise or no fire shooting out the exhaust or anything like that. Like they're not going to obviously overtake petrol cars, I think, anytime soon. They're definitely here, but it's not like petrol cars are going to disappear off the face of the earth. They're still going to be the retros and everything. They're not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, the Stards and stuff like that are slightly cheaper than the supercars. So
yeah, I think running engine, I think it was sort of 50-60%. The actual cost from when I was speaking with, forgotten her name. That's really bad, isn't it? Forgotten her name. We'll move on like that never happened. Yeah, the initial cost is, and obviously it's relatively newish technology. It's still very high, but yeah, the running cost of the engine, the maintenance, I think more than anything, because if you take the efficiency of an electric motor compared to an ICE, and what's happening in there, that it's incredibly simple, really. So there's a lot less maintenance, a lot less requirements. So, but yeah, some really interesting thoughts, I think, from you there. I'd kind of agree, I think, with everything you're saying there. We were actually there with the 500 E's at Lydden. The racing itself was actually really good.
Yeah,
they went, was it 4 wide up in the top hairpin? Just somewhat, it was just ridiculous. But yeah, I must admit, I think I was facing the other way talking to you, and it set off, and I didn't even realise that. Yeah, that was a bit peculiar, I must admit. But yeah, hopefully, it's early days. We'll see how it goes. So I suppose rounding up, in terms of yourself, with your shout out, obviously we've got your people who are sponsoring you below. But if there's anybody you wanted to give a shout out to specifically, feel free.
I'd say K-Seal Racing have helped quite a lot. Past 2 years, they were the ones that sponsored my stepdad Ren. He raced. So for them to now, so that's for them really to now sponsor me has been quite, because it all sort of fits. They sponsor me like they sponsor my stepdad. Orange car, Mini, Lydden, it all fits lovely for me. So I was quite very happy to have them on board, and can't wait to see where stuff goes with them in the future with their plans and everything. And TRF eSports, they are the ones that help with everything sim wise, and especially like the data and everything. They're always going to be helping back me. So it's awesome to have the community of them lot on board, and TCF off road. The community on there has been very supportive throughout starting, because they knew me before I started and did their sim competition, and they've stuck with, and they're always cool to speak to in the Discord and everything, and everyone there is very supportive and all about Rallycross completely, and be very supportive throughout. So yeah, I'd say them a lot in the communities in the Discords and everything it's great really to have. But yeah, I'd say
I must have, I'm on that Discord as well, and it is well, these two probably Discords I spend most of my time on. That one and Double Joker.
Yes.
It's hilarious being on there at times. So yeah, but definitely, it's a good set of people on there. And for my favourite part, which you're not getting away with, is the quick fire round. So this, I just like doing this because I like just get a hello, Bonzo. I'm mid-interview, mate. My dog, how it is. It's not too happy. Yes. So first car.
I only did like 18 miles in it, so does it count?
Technically, I suppose. But did you crash it, or did you?
I just didn't like driving it.
Oh, fair enough.
I had a black box on it, so I couldn't point to it. Was it Citroen 106? I think it is. the little small little thing.
Yeah.
107, I think maybe they
Oh
are.
yeah, the Peugeot 107s. Yeah.
Yeah, the little small little, like basically like a Citroen C1
similar
or
to the
whatever.
C1, aren't they? Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all
those little little things.
Nice. I don't know if I'd fit in one, but I could, try maybe. Favorite car?
Oh, the classic minis, the Austins.
Yeah, kind of knew that was coming. I think from the opening. That's fair enough. If you was to have one of the classic minis, where would you take it? If you could drive it anywhere.
I'd probably.
I expected a quick answer to this one. Actually, I can't.
Yeah, I thought Lydden, but then you said anywhere, so I was like, oh god, you can go so many places with that car and have so much fun. So yeah, I'd guess I'd go Lydden just to have a good time in it and get it on sort of two wheels around the last corner or something.
Yeah.
I grew up watching Bill Richards do that, so it looked like quite a good fun.
Yeah, definitely. This is where I start to judge you a little bit. 3 current favourite songs?
Oh god! Oh damn!
I feel like that's been the reaction every time.
I don't. Current favourite song? I don't actually know this
so
one.
not necessarily in the charts, but just what you're listening to at the minute. I say that because every sort of other day I probably change to certain stuff constantly.
What am I listening to? Let me check. I know that the top one will probably be Core. It's something by NF. So my favourite one from him is normally Time. So oh god, what have I been listening to at the moment? I don't even know where you'd go to find that. I've just got. Oh, I got what's the film? Who is it? What's the film? Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes.
Film.
What a film! Yeah.
The song in there called, I think it's Black Sheep or whatever.
Yeah.
By Brie Larson sings it. That for some weird reason at the moment, that's on repeat for me. So that's probably number 2. And number 3's I think I think it's I don't know who it's by, but it's a song that says I think it says I'm Good. I think that's the title of it, but I don't know who it's by. So yeah, I'd say NF and then that, and then I don't know who's it by, but it just says I'm Good. I know it says that a lot.
Quality film choice as well, by the way. And yeah, favourite film.
God, I like a lot of films, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm like that. I can never give a favourite. It's normally like
it's really difficult because
5 that I like.
Yeah, there's 5. I can think of probably like 3 I can think of 3 definitely at the top. Number 1 though, I'd say is the classic Italian Job. I
knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I grew up watching that. I love that. So that, and then something like The Knight's Tale. I like that as a kid.
Good. That's is that the one where it's the poetry in it? Is that The Knight's Tale?
It's the one with Heath Ledger as the knight.
And what's he called doing all the picking him up every time.
Yeah, he's in the one that's Jarvis or Vision. Yeah, him, the guy who plays them. Yeah, him. I think his name's Paul something. I think
something like that. I can't remember.
And weirdly enough, The Longest Yard.
Yeah,
the Adam Sandler film. I like that growing up.
That is a good. Yeah, it's quite a funny movie.
Yeah.
Blatantly rips off a British film, but we'll let them have
it. Yeah, it does. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, it's good. Go-to takeaway.
I guess Subway at the moment.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Favorite place you've been?
Favorite place I've been? Oh god. Cool. I haven't been that many places thinking about it. It's weird. So it's definitely a racetrack somewhere.
Perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah, just don't know which one. I think I probably quite like Brands, to be fair. I like going Brands because seeing some of the cars go around there.
Any place you want to go?
To Spa next.
Yes.
I'd like to go to Spa next year.
We say that a lot of we've got to go Spa. One is I want to go watch the 24, and I also just want to drive it. Just want to go. 100%. with you there. Another hobby other than racing?
The sim racing count.
Yeah, why not?
Because that's the two I've got, really.
That'll do. That's good enough. And finally, then, one fact that we wouldn't know about you. I like putting people on the spot. It makes me so happy. I don't know why. Just like cringe. It's good.
Oh, I don't have a clue. I don't know. I don't.
It's so hard to think about stuff about yourself.
Yeah. Think about something about myself that people won't know. I have a what's it called? I have dyspraxia. I have that, so I'm on. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, really. That
I think that's
might
quite
know.
Good, especially with the building the cars and things like that. I think that's
yeah.
awesome. Like,
yeah,
more props to you.
I can't use my left hand for nothing, really. I can use it in certain situations, but eating my dinner, I can't use my left hand. I can't tie my shoelaces.
Fair play to you. Absolute fair play to you. That's all right. That's good. And yeah, I think we'll end it there. Almost kept it under an hour, but we're doing better at these. So again, thank you very much for coming on. Hell of a lot of fun. Really excited to see, I think, your progression moving forward with obviously the new car, and as somebody just enjoys car builds, seeing your rebuild over the months, years, whatever that is. I think that would be fantastic. So yeah, really good. Thank you for coming on. Hope everybody's enjoyed it who's watched it as well. And we'll have many more of these coming up. And I'll hopefully see you at... You won't be at Pembury, will you?
No, sadly not.
So maybe the Lydden and...
the Blyton. If everything goes according to my plan that's currently failing, Blyton will be where I want to be. Got a lot of hope. Yeah, no worries. Well, we'll see you around then. We'll see you on the track and we'll catch into you. So thank you very much for that, Wes. Thank you for being on. And yeah, so everybody else, anyone who's watched it, as we said, plenty more coming up. Make sure you subscribe and give it a like. And, we'll share your sponsors. Check them out. Obviously, they've been helping Wes out an awful lot. And we obviously got to appreciate that. So, right, that'll do for today. Cheers all.